By repeat viewer request and thanks to the generosity of Taurus, we have the TH45 coming up. You'll see absolute first shots through the gun. We'll do full mag +1 to see how that runs fully stuffed. Of course, our trademark what's for dinner test to see what it eats. Take it to the spinner for sights and trigger control. Then some practical accuracy before giving you my concluding thoughts. Coming up next on GB Guns. Thanks guys, I had to dig out all my 45 ammo that I hadn't touched in a long time. So first shots through the TH45, we have, as always, our C-zone target out there about 20 yards away. Unfortunately, Tia's not here to criticize me. It's usually it's actually 25 yards, but I feel like rounding down is better than rounding up. But anyways, first 10 shots, I'm using PMC bronze, 230 grain. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna do first shot decocked, run that double action since that's what the gun is capable of. One of the things I think is kind of neat about this is you can have 3 trigger modes. That wasn't too bad. Hit way high right. Man, it's been a minute since I've shot a 45 and that push of recoil is, well, it's enjoyable. And of course that big thunk when the casing hits the ground. Do some more double action. Oh, miss. Runs pretty comfortable so far. My the web, the inside of my thumb is rubbing a little bit on the safety. That's just my hand fit, and I did not change the back strap, so it is the factory back strap. We'll move on from there to 10 rounds or full mag +1. Full mag +1. With the same PMC bronze, 230 grain, decock. Love that ambi mag release. So we have 14 rounds on tap, and we'll just run through it, see how the gun runs fully stuffed. No issues. I was airing slightly right. That could just be getting used to the gun. Thumb is definitely slipping off of that little index memory point there, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the gun fits in the whole hand. Now let's head over to What's for Dinner and see what the gun eats. And it's that time again. Thanks to Ammo Squared, patron supporters, and some shopping, we've got 78 grain up through 230 grain for What's for Dinner. Now, if you're new to this test, the objective is to see what the gun will eat. So we're firing 3 rounds of each load to see if it feeds from side lock, cycles another round of the same type, and locks open on empty at the end. 45 doesn't have as big of a range of loads as other calibers. I think because of pressures, I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. If you'd like to try any of these, check the pinned comment for the full review over at gbgunsdepot.com, where I'll link to the stuff if I can find it. For What's for Dinner, as always, we are 7 yards away. These circles, for reference, are 2-inch circles. So you have an idea what my aiming point is like. It's not the finest of aiming points, but it is indeed small. Our lightest load today is only 78 grains. It's a Liberty Ammunition Civil Defense +P. It's the only +P we have here, and those of you that watch the tabletop know why +P would be important for this gun. I'm going to try doing the first shots for all of these in double action, just to get a feel for that double action. Circle number 1. That is definitely +P. No issues cycling, worked pretty well. Now we've got Steinel's 185 grain, nickel plated case, hollow point. Again, double action first shot. That might be my point of aim being a little high, causing those shots to hit high, but not bad. I know hollow points with 45s have always been one of the historical questions or challenges, and people think that the guns just can't do it. It's really just a matter of how short and fat the round is, and so when you cut the nose off of there, you lose part of what can be fed. However, that's usually been worked out in modern guns. But rounds like the Hornady Critical Defense, also 185 grain, Have a little tip in there to help with that. Circle 3. That's spicy. But no issues cycling. For circle 4, we've got Blazer's aluminum case, 230 grain. We use aluminum. We used to use steel when it was available. For the same reason you guys do. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to make, cheaper to ship, so cheaper to buy. However, the cases expand and contract at a different rate than brass does, which is what most American or modern guns are made for. And they have a different friction coefficient on the case. So going into and out of the chamber and even in the magazine can sometimes cause hang-ups. Circle 4. Was not expecting that trigger break there. But I'm remembering now that in the tabletop I commented on how the double action wasn't quite stageable. No issues with the aluminum though. It had a different smell to it. It is pretty old ammo, so maybe that's what's going on there. I don't shoot 45 nearly as often, and so my What's for Dinner kit is a little aged. I'm curious to see how much of this stuff I'm able to find on the market today for you guys. If you check the pinned comment, the article will have links if I can find them, if this stuff's still around. Now, Federal HST 230 grain. The opposite of aluminum, these are nickel plated case, so they're nice and slick. Also helps with corrosion resistance. Definitely heavier recoiling. Feel that in my trigger finger. Yeah, stouter recoil with the HSTs, but no feeding issues. Next, for circle 6, we've got SIG's Elite Defense. Elite Performance ammunition, the V-Crown 230 grain. Pretty stuff. So if you're wondering why that one shot is high and different from the others, that's that double action shot. This is a reality of shooting a double action first shot, is you gotta know it. And I'm still learning this gun, and the break on the double action is surprising me every time. Circle 7 is the Spear Gold Dot. This is a stubbier, shorter round. I tried just pulling through the double action, letting it surprise me instead of trying to stage it. There we go. And of course, that time it was the double action shot that was perfect and the others were off. Circle 8 will be Rock Island Armory's 230 grain hollow points. These are an affordable hollow point. Interesting. The break on the single action was surprising me on that one. I am no pro shooter, but I'm usually pretty good. I don't know why I'm having trouble learning this gun. Circle 9 is Ammo Inc.'s 230 grain hollow point. This one has a nice, pretty floral shape to it. Looks like it's eager to open. Well, those printed nicely. And our last load is the Remington Ultimate Defense full-size handgun, 230 grain, nickel-plated case, and these are brass-jacketed hollow point. Interesting. I mean, this is a big gun. I would call it full-size, but the barrel is under the semi-spec for 45. So is it full-size or not? I want to hear your votes. Seems like I'm learning the gun, because those went pretty well too. Not bad. I'm feeling some recoil impulse through the trigger in my finger. It's kind of beaten up. I don't know if it's, I don't want to call it trigger slap. It's probably the gun rocking and the frame mashing up on my trigger finger as my finger slides down. That's a result of my hand fit to this gun. I won't call it a gun fault, and might be changed with a different back strap. But the show must go on. Now over to the spinner for sights and trigger control. This will be an interesting one. 45 usually has good energy. I'm still gonna give myself 8 rounds. That is our 6-inch Titan Great Outdoors spinner target. I'm back here about 13 yards away. I use this target for sights and trigger control because it's a challenge. It's a small target that's far away, and as I hit it, it'll start moving. If I want to get it to flip over the top, which of course is a personal goal, I've got to time that shot well. This is where a predictable trigger and fine sights come into play. See how the TH45 does, and I am going to start in double action. Same PMC bronze 230 grain. Wow, made it jump. I guess I only gave myself 5 rounds, but I think we saw enough. The sights aren't anything fancy, neither is the trigger, but I guess that just goes to show if you can learn your trigger, as I was doing during the What's for Dinner test, feats like that are doable. What we also saw for you 45 fans there was considerable muzzle energy. That really knocked that around compared to most of the 9mm guns that we've tested, aside from say a 5-incher gun, or if we're running some warmer 9mm ammo, then we can get a similar performance, but which is PMC bronze. This 4 1/4 inch barrel definitely was smacking. So that was nice, and it was not challenging to do with this gun. How about some practical accuracy now? Now for practical accuracy, it'll be 5 shots from 7 yards. Same target. I'm aiming at the left circle square there, and that is a 1-inch square, which is typically about the same width of a front sight post from 7 yards, which lets me aim well, thereby reducing shooter error, theoretically. I'm gonna try the first shot in double action, see how this goes. Wow, I certainly, you know what? I'm healing maybe. Yep, I healed on that double action. Healing, if you don't know it, is a shooter error. It's basically recoil anticipation. It's your body kind of pushing the gun out last minute as the shot goes to break. And I think with this particular double action, as I haven't mastered it yet, it being longer and heavier, right before, like something in my wrist was saying, oh, it should have gone off by now, and causing me to throw the shot. But otherwise, that's a pretty good group for 7 yards. After shots for the TH45. It's not a bad gun, not a great gun either. I don't think anyone is trying to believe that it is. Nothing wrong with it in today's experience. Everything went well, shot well. I think I would need to play around with the back straps and maybe try to find a little bit of a better fit. It's not uncomfortable to me, but somehow I'm just not gripping this well. Maybe that's shooter error because I shoot so much 9mm that the bigger circumference of the gun is feeling different, but I have fairly large hands. I'm not having any issue holding on to it. I do wish there was texture up at these little divots up here to try to maybe hold on a little more with a support thumb, but Taurus has been doing those indents for a long time. I think my G2 Millennium, whatever it was called way back then, had those in it too. It was one of the things that I thought was rather forward-looking of Taurus at the time. It's a shame they haven't updated the texture on it in that time. But for a rather affordable price, you're getting a DA-SA with 3 carry modes. Right? You can go safety on, decocked. You can go cocked and safety on, or you can do what I would probably do and just carry it decocked. after I mastered that double action shot. We saw that with most loads, it was the double action shot that made an otherwise pretty good group look not so great. That's shooter error, that's this guy. Are there smoother double actions out there? Yes, of course. But this is an affordable gun. I can't fault it for that. And I've proven many times on this channel that with some time and practice, you can do much better with these. With any trigger, you just gotta learn the trigger, which I apparently didn't quite learn in the course of this video for this gun. But I appreciate you guys asking for me to review this. I hope you appreciated the review. Any questions you have or follow-up you want, let me know, and we'll bring this back out again. Thanks for watching.